like.
Hello, it's me.
Hello, it's me. The title track of my 2018 Arrowhawk Records album that you should go buy if you don't have it already. I don't even know how many more copies are left, but probably not that many more because you guys have been so nice and bought so many. But you can get it from Bandcamp with my name, Chris Crofton. And I'm going to change my lighting because look at this. I'm the same color as my shirt. I look like a fucking... It just doesn't get much paler looking than this. I look like a corpse with a Boz Scaggs hat on.
No, you don't.
Okay, well, can you guys hear me in there? How's the chat room set? Is everything working? Yeah. You guys in there? Gimlins? Yeah. I'm just making sure.
Yeehaw on cats.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't. That's that. Okay, I'm gonna turn the light out and make myself sexy.
Dang.
All right. I don't know if that's really sexy either. I still look the same color.
No, man, it's pretty sexy.
Possum Terriet's here.
Thank goodness. Can't have a show without Possum Terriet. One of the good things about the end of the world is you get to name yourself crazy names. You know?
Yeah, like you're on the Road Warrior or something.
Exactly. It's exactly right. That's exactly right. I don't know what the people's names in the Road Warrior were, but like Mad Max was one of them.
Angry Finch.
And what do we got in? Well, who?
I'm the Angry Finch.
Who's that?
That's my Road Warrior alter ego.
Did you just make that up? Angry Finch. Interesting.
Well, I was thinking of that redhead dudes with his red hair. You know, the maniac in Road Warrior, the guy that.
Oh, right. But a finch is a tiny bird. I would just think for the apocalypse, he might want to be bigger.
Well,
but that's fine. I kind of like it being small. I kind of like the idea of being a small thing at the end of the world.
Yellow.
You might be unnoticed and survive.
Very agile. You can go through the lava very quickly.
Yeah, but it is sort of fun. It's like when the archaeologists go through the rubble of this civilization and they find mostly just pictures of people making duck faces at cameras. They are going to find also, they're going to find tons of wires. I would say probably most of the bodies they find will be swaddled in cords and wires. Probably a lot of them will have like computer mice inside their screaming mouth, like the skull will be open screaming and there'll be like a mouse hanging out of it. And when they dig us up, they're going to be like, before they all died, they named themselves crazy shit. You know?
Yeah.
They'd be like, here lies 420 dildo man. You know? Or like 69 this
69 breath.
And that's like a normal person. It's not like some maniac. Yeah. They're like, my God, this is like a regular person who had a family and they called themselves Human Chopper 69 online. And this was like the gentry. This was the landed gentry who were calling themselves this.
Dildo Wings 25.
Yeah. Is that a person?
I said it.
Did you just make that up? Yeah. Dildo Wings 25 was like the head of the town right before the end. Save us, Dildo Wings 25. I only have enough water for myself. See you suckers later. I'm taking Hobgoblin 48, my wife, with me. Seriously, I think it's funny that a dystopia sort of sneaks up on you and it's normal. Like none of this would have been normal if you told some, pipe fitter from 1956 that this shit was going to go on, like that everybody was going to be named like Hog Weasel 98. He would be like, that's not true.
Possum Terrier says, be right back. Change my name to 69 Dildo Man.
Yeah, go ahead. Who cares?
It does say something about everything for sure.
Yeah, that it's normal, like that, people accept political commentary. Like, I watch the Sam Cedar show sometimes, and they're like, people call in with like genuine points, or they email in like with an actual political point, like, and they, he's like, Barf Tractor says.
Oh, they have to say his name?
Well, they just, yeah, I mean, they say, like, it used to be, it'd be like Mrs. Nussbaum from like Trenton, but now it's Barf Spewer from Hell. Barf Spewer from Hell says, says gas prices are high and he's wondering when they'll come down. Well, it's interesting you bring that up, Barf Tractor 420. It is a pretty fun part of the end of the world. It's also, here's the thing, is also like, I'm a person who watched a lot of porn, especially when I was younger and had a sex drive. But I watched a lot of porn, and people in porn used to be ugly, like in some way. Like a famous porn actress named or not ugly, but like, or scarred, or something was wrong with them. Like a famous porn actress was named oh god, I can't remember her goddamn name. But doesn't
Amber
matter. But she
Lynn?
was like scalded. No, Amber Lynn was
Christy
just
Canyon.
You could keep naming them though if you want. No, but they're I mean, those are
Amber
also
Lynn was one of the most famous, right?
Amber Lynn, yeah. Ginger Lynn was probably the most famous of the Lynn's. But they were all most of the injuries to most of the ways people got into the porn business were from psychological injuries. But also they were just like, usually, I mean, to end up in porn, you had to usually have a pretty rough childhood or have low self-esteem. So like one of the famous porn actresses of like the golden age from the 70s, her name was, I cannot believe I can't fucking remember her name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, she's like late 70s. She's not 80s. She's not like Amber Lynn was like hair metal person. No, well, Seika was around back then, but Seika was pretty conventionally pretty. Tracy Lords was the underage. Turns out she was underage when she was a star.
Tori Wells.
No, these are all definitely porn stars. You definitely know a lot. You definitely know a lot of
Dave
porn
Parker.
stars. I think you should probably for your own sake stop naming them. But for your own reputation, you might want to stop naming them.
Now is the time that I could use all the work I put into it.
Well, no, I know more about porn than I know about baseball, for example. The way some people are like A-Rod and whatever. I'm like, I mean, like for me, I know that number. I have
That's
like,
true.
Yeah,
that's a good comparison. Yeah, you're a porn fan instead of a sports fan.
Yeah, like like Ginger Lynn's like my A-Rod. I'm not even really sure who A-Rod is exactly. I know he hit a lot of home runs, I guess, and people like him sort of, but they're also
he took
mad
steroids and now he's an annoying announcer.
He's rich or something. Yeah, people are mad at him
because he's rich. J-Lo and got dumped.
I mean, if you like sports as much as Americans do, you got to expect these people are going to be rich. So why are you mad at him? Anyway,
I had one thing to say.
What the fuck is her name? It's going to drive me insane. Anyway, she was scalded. She had a scar that they had to hide from the camera because she had been scalded as a kid. So,
no, I'll Google it.
No, but I mean, you're not going to, that's pretty obscure. The fact that I even know this is just because I read this great book called The Other Hollywood by Legs McNeil. I highly recommend that book. It's an oral history of porn made by the same guy who made Please Kill Me, the book about punk rock. Legs. No, Megan Lee shot herself.
The first thing that comes up is hot scalding porn videos.
Yeah, that's that's gonna be a problem. Yeah, if you put like burning hot and porn in, you're not gonna get anything about someone who was injured. You're just gonna get stuff. So I don't know. It doesn't matter. But all I know is at the end of the world, where we're at right now, where there's no middle class or anything. Because I mean, the porn world is a terrible world for the most part. I kind of like the 70s because they actually were, a lot of them were actors that decided that maybe porn was a place they could kind of act until they made the mainstream. So it wasn't quite as, there was still trafficking, I'm sure. But ultimately porn became just like a place for runaways and people who had problems to be taken advantage of. But this woman I'm talking about was from the early days. But now the thing is like, so like I don't know, like back then, like one of them, like to be in porn, like you'd be really good looking, but you'd have a weird foot or something. They'd have to shoot around, you know. But now you can tell it's the end of the world because everybody in porn is like hot, like actually hot. Like they don't have like, you know, it's because the economy is destroyed. I mean, it's like one of like it's what I mean, it's you know, it's influencer adjacent, you know, for men and women. I mean, it's like anyway, it's just interesting because I think just as a note, if everybody in porn is actually hot, like conventionally beautiful, that means something's wrong with the economy because they're not supposed to be doing porn. They're supposed to be,
Or are you talking about?
you know, fucking running the gardening.
Are you
club
talking about
or garden
OnlyFans,
club.
or are you talking about something?
Oh no, that's a whole different story, which is another example of the economy gone mad and the idea of the hustle economy or the gig economy being just a name that fucking corporate America made up to justify why they don't pay enough. Like, oh yeah, the hustle economy. Oh, you mean poor people like selling fucking soap out of the trunk of their car? Um, you know, the hustle economy has been hustling and stuff has been glorified by the media because it's just a fancy way of saying like a side hustle. That's what I'm looking for. That expression, side hustle. You know, that's just
Right.
like that's like naming. I don't know. It's like naming. I don't know. It's like you could call panhandling a side hustle by that standard. You know, it's just people who have no money doing anything they can to make money, and now like corporate people are like selling that back to them as like like T-shirts that say hustle culture on it.
Well, people are
Anyway,
breaking into
so
houses in the hills, aren't they? They're going through sliding glass doors. I saw some footage of that tonight.
hell yeah, I came through one on the way over here to the microphone.
All it takes is a swift pop, and you're in.
It's go time.
And the glass isn't really that dangerous once it shatters.
If you're storming the Capitol, I'm going to go to Cartier and get myself a nice watch. That's the way it works.
A dildo wings
You know what I'm
25
saying?
with his bling.
Dildo what?
Dildo
Who?
wings 25 with his bling on.
Oh, this is another imaginary person, or this is the same imaginary person you're talking about,
this
right?
is me as after I've broken into a rich guy's house.
Yeah, Dildo Wings 24 or whatever doesn't take any shit. He doesn't. If he needs to get, he's like, I need to get mines, you know. You're like, why are you saying get mines? You're from Connecticut. So yeah, like
I go in there and I drink the rich guy's milk. And then I go after his cheese, and then I go for the jewels after that.
It's kind of funny. It's like stealing luxury items, like yeah, holding up Trader Joe's for the oat milk or something. So what well, I'm gonna get off the porn thing because just cause, but check out Legs McNeil's book, The Other Hollywood. It's very interesting if you're into seedy you know, underbelly of life type stuff, which I really am interested in. What was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, just that people are talking about, yeah, everybody's like, oh my God, the fucking conservatives are like, this is it. The liberal world has produced, people are just full on attacking Best Buys and stealing stereos like in broad daylight. You know, it's not just Republican. I mean, it's Republicans are like, liberals, this is a consequence of liberal policies. It's not a consequence of liberal policies. It's a consequence of globalism, which has been decided on by both parties, which both parties are owned by 12 rich people. So the 12 rich people that own both parties decided globalism was happening, and the fucking politicians that they pay made it happen. So it's not Republican or Democrat. It's oligarchical. It's the oligarchy wants globalism because it meant they had access to labor markets that they could pay a nickel an hour. And now we're fucking reaping that. You can't take away all the jobs of the country in the whole country and then just say those people are going to get retrained. You know, they didn't get retrained. They're wandering around towns that are boarded up on opioids and overdosing like crazy. And everybody and their mother has to carry around Narcan so they can resuscitate their husband 5 times a day. So the idea that people are smashing into stores is just a natural consequence. You keep transferring wealth upward. What do you think's going to happen? You can talk to people about hustle culture all you want, but when you can't afford your fucking meds, or you want a Christmas present, and you used to work in a factory and now you just wander around in an opioid daze, what do you think? You think people are just going to put up with the top 1% just shoveling money? I mean, they got so much richer during the pandemic that by itself, the fact that people didn't just right then go apeshit, the fact that the oligarchs, the people with the most money in this country, what am I saying? In the world, there's only about 500 of them who really are dominating the entire economy of the world. Their wealth grew exponentially during the pandemic. And so do you think people are just going to sit and take that? I mean, without fucking something happening? I mean, the only people who are surprised by this are the people who still have money. And they're like, everything's fine. I don't know why people are flipping out. And that goes back to like Hillary Clinton when Bernie Sanders was doing well during her first primary to be the first time she ran for president. And the book came out that said, she said in private, what are people so mad about? To like one of her closest friends, closest aides, like why are people into Bernie Sanders? Because in her world, she doesn't understand. So if you have resources right now, then you don't understand why people are smashed. They think, oh, the liberals have made it so it's okay to smash. Oh, this is somehow must be connected to Black Lives Matter. People are just all of a sudden just feel entitled to steal. Oh my God. And it's just all like so obvious if you're on the ground and you have, $500 like most people have in the bank. If they're lucky, maybe $200.
Yeah, well, money does change your perspective. You can't help it changing you. You can feel it even when you get a tiny bit of it, So once you get a lot of it, you can't help but change. I don't think.
Right. Well, that's what my favorite. Well, just that thing I say on stage sometimes that every time I have $800, I understand how Republicans think. I have a little spring in my step. I buy the biggest latte. I buy 2 muffins, and I say, "Hey, people need to get their shit together."
Canaries.
If you want to read more of, that's right, canaries. If you want to read more about this kind of stuff that I'm yelling about right now, you can pre-order my book. Can you put it up, Eric? Thank you, Eric. Look at that fucking thing. So you can pre-order this book. It's like
looks good up there.
Isn't it nice? This guy Nicholas Gazin illustrated it. He did that great illustration. It's coming out on Vanderbilt University Press, which is no small operation. I mean, in terms of like, it's really fun to tell, people who are in the 1% that I have a book coming out on Vanderbilt University Press, because they just sort of make smoke come out of their ears. They don't understand, like, because rich people value Vanderbilt. So they're like, Vanderbilt, what? So, I've worked in the service industry most of my life, and people who come into restaurants tend to like to think that their servers are, dumb or something, or they kind of, part of the fun of going out to dinner is thinking, well, at least I'm doing better than these fucking waiters. But so when you tell, like, this guy came into the wine bar, Greg, I don't think I told you this, but most of the time when people ask what I've been up to, or, during the pandemic, what did you do? And I'm like, wow, should I tell them I've been putting this book together? Some of the customers at the wine bar are nice, and this guy's not a bad guy, but, I think he probably figures I'm just going to say, oh, nothing, but I just went crazy. And like, I don't know if I had the right amount of coffee, or I just wanted to tell him the truth. So I was like, Vanderbilt University, I write an advice column, and Vanderbilt University is putting out a compilation of my advice columns called the Advice King Anthology. And he was like, what? Like, he got kind of mad. He was like, what? Vanderbilt University? Vanderbilt University in Mexico? No, the one right in Nashville. What? Right? And he said, all he ended up saying was, are you going to sell it at the wine bar? And I was like, forget it. I mean, it was just like, he was like, Vanderbilt spelled how? Oh, you're talking about Vanderbilt. You're talking about Vanderbilt, the trade school? I mean, whatever. It's just a bad reaction. I mean, I've had customers tell me about worst thing that ever happened to me in a restaurant was one of these customers looked at me drunk and he said with derision, like, have you read The Fountainhead? And of course I haven't read that piece of shit. But I just like I said yes, just because what am I going to do? So I just said yes to make him mad. I said yes, I have, and he's like, oh, that surprises me. That's pretty cool. That's good. You should read that. Oh yeah, that thing about where it's like every man for himself. That's a great model for humanity. Yeah, every man for himself. What a great. I can guarantee you that dude I was talking to is a Christian.
Yeah, I read The Fountainhead. It was okay.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a page turner somewhat, and you like Rourke is kind of likable, and it's just how you have to be an individual. I think that's what it's about. Otherwise, there's no point. So it's anti-communism because that's where she came from.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't read that much. I used to read a lot as a kid, but I don't have a lot of attention span for reading anymore. So I'm sure as hell I'm not going to be reading any Ayn Rand. I mean,
no. I mean, it's for like when you're
that.
in high school and stuff.
The Advice King anthology. The nice thing about the Advice King anthology is it is short, snappy articles, so you can pick it up anywhere you want and flip through and you can have a good time. It's alternately very funny and then a lot of stuff about some serious stuff and a lot of stuff about redistributing wealth, which is I feel like is either is going to happen or people are just going to keep going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, forever. They're just going to keep being like, oh my God. And then, anyway, you get the idea. Go get the book. If you can pre-order it. It doesn't actually come out, doesn't hit the shelves in bookstores till April, but if you pre-order it, you will get it sooner than that. I don't know how much sooner, but you do get it sooner. Plus, if you use this code 15 is it 15 pre 15 capital PRE, you get 40% off. So the book only costs like $13 or something like that. And the funny thing is Vanderbilt can make more money selling it at a 40% discount as on a pre-order than they will make through Amazon sales. So pre-ordering also, I mean, Vanderbilt obviously is not hurting for money, but the Vanderbilt University Press is a small part of Vanderbilt and is actually not funded that well. So it's not a bad thing to give them some money, but it'd be even better, buying from a bookstore, like an actual bookstore might be the best thing, I don't know. But anyway, pre-order it and, I'm very excited anyway, and very grateful. And thank you guys who've already ordered, because I've had reports that we sold at least 50 on the first day, and that's pretty fucking great.
Well, I can give a plug too, because I've read all the columns, and they're great and entertaining and informative. And also during a time in Nashville where there's been a lot of change and there's not been a lot of vehicles to express yourself about that change. And so the columns have been sort of a way to everyone collectively express themselves through Chris a little bit. And one column in particular was about pedal taverns, which you may have heard of. And it was a link in a New York Times article by Clay Risen in August, because this summer the pedal taverns sort of hit a crescendo and how they are destroying Lower Broadway and downtown Nashville. And when I first read the column, I was like, wow, that's I was like, Chris really it's a wild column. And but then on the second read, I was like, wow, you really nailed it. It was far out, but the pedal taverns are fucking far out, you know. So it was a really cool column. So just things like that.
Thanks. Yeah, you can find it. You can actually find it because that was after. I think that was after maybe that's in the Advice King anthology, but it might have been right after I already compiled it. But yeah, you can search Advice King Bachelorettes. I think Advice King Bachelorettes or Advice King Pedal Taverns, I guess. But yeah, I mean, downtown Nashville.
Masterpiece.
Okay, Bachelorettes was a different.
This
but
is
you
about
know,
the
like
monkey being buried under the stage of the Ryman.
oh fuck, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay, so that's good. Yeah, I forgot about that. Fuck. Oh yeah, so that got linked in a New York Times thing, and it also got linked in some. What was the other link? It got linked in. Oh, Rolling Stone linked to one of my columns recently. So I just feel like there's some good momentum, and I'm trying to send a message of love out there, and somehow just do a little part to tell people that they should be a little less I don't know, a little more fuck, I don't know, you know what I mean. So let's start the show like as far as the fun stuff. But thank you for putting that up, Eric, very much, and thank you all so much. And thank you. I see all that. Um, People saying got mine and just bought it and stuff. And thank you so much. It's really I just want to be on Bill Maher and like I want to go on like shows like that and just be like kind of like what Jon Stewart did when he went on Tucker Carlson on Firing Line a million years ago or whatever it was. I forget. Meet the Press or whatever the fuck it was, where he said this is all theater.
Yeah, it was Crossfire.
Crossfire. I feel like that's necessary. It's like just somebody needs to say like stop analyzing party politics and get at the root of this stuff. This party politics are just like a fucking distraction at this point. They're both thoroughly corrupt, both parties. I mean, for people to just go on and on about what a dick Trump is without the context of where he came from, which is really easy to trace, that has absolutely nothing to do with him. It's just we're dealing with a clickbait news culture that just can't stop talking about Trump because people poke on the goddamn thing every time they do. So we're never going to stop hearing about Trump, and we're never going to stop hearing about people whose pants fell down or people who fell off a ladder, or we're never going to stop seeing people in bikinis line dance or whatever the fuck else until people stop clicking. And, I think that will happen, but it might be too late. People will eventually stop. The novelty will wear off. But right now we're being hypnotized. Ever since the advent of the internet, basically the entire culture has been hypnotized, metaphorically by cat videos. And we can't stop. And until we stop, like things are just not going to be right, because that means that all of our news is determined on whether we click on it. And no one ever clicks on good news or reasonable news. They only click on stuff that like the vaccine makes you grow a third arm or whatever. Nobody wants to read on the vaccine is reasonable and works well. I mean, that's not going to, in an overstimulated culture, that's not going to wash. People want to see death and destruction. People are desensitized. It reminds me, Greg, of Dad watching Dad had trauma. Our dad had trauma growing up, so his feelings were flattened because he kind of had to turn his feelings off to survive his home life. So then one Christmas I walked into the kitchen and he was watching World War II people get executed by firing squads on YouTube. And I was like, I understand this. He's trying to feel something. And that's what all the world is trying to do now. They just want to see more nudity, more violence, more fucking crazy stories, more Trump took a shit on fucking Adam Schiff's head or whatever. That's what they click on. They'll never click on Trump as a symptom of wealth disparity. I mean, they're not going to click on that. You might get a few intellectuals who click on that, but you're not going to get. So I just want to go on Bill Maher so I can say, would you guys shut the fuck up about Donald Trump and talk about why he exists?
People want to read about UFOs, right?
Stop being smug. Yeah. And stop being smug. Stop Bill Maher. Like, it's just like, stop being smug. It doesn't help anything. It just divides us even more. No one cares about you being smart. Who cares? There's lots of smart people. Bill Maher's not dumb. He's pretty smart, but there's lots of smart people. It's not just Bill Maher that's smart and everybody else is dumb. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of Bill Maher. I used to watch him a long time ago too, and he's just revealed himself to be just nothing but a narcissist, in my opinion. And we got enough of those, God knows. Okay, so yeah, UFOs. All right, so this is the topic today. When I was a kid, one of my favorite stories I ever read was about a UFO. It might have been the Reader's Digest Unexplained Mysteries hardcover book, which I still recommend to anybody. It's just a compendium of every weird story, but it was back before Reader's Digest realized they should chop up the big book into like 20 books. So it's like one giant tome that has every weird thing that ever happened. Instead of later on, they made it so like subscribe and you get every month a new weird, you know what I mean, Greg? Like people on the chat, a lot of them might be too young to know what I'm talking about, but eventually they were like, buy the Time Life World of Strange Monsters series. And then every month you got a skinny book. But at one time, Reader's Digest, before they got onto the model, basically the clickbait model, they put out a book called Unexplained Mysteries, and it's got pretty much everything in it. And it may be where I read it, but this guy saw a UFO, but he also said he ordered food from the UFO. And it was the best. What I read when I first read it was that the alien gestured to the man asking if he would like somehow manage to communicate, would you like some food? And the man somehow was able to gesture back that he would like some. And I just never forgot that, because what kind of maniac in the world is seeing a UFO and simultaneously is hungry and has his wits about him enough to say, yes, I would like some food. I mean, that's absurd. So that'd be like seeing the Loch Ness Monster and like, I don't know how to, measuring his ears or something. I mean, I don't know what it would be like, but it's like just something you wouldn't think of in the moment. You would just run, or you would be frozen, but you certainly wouldn't order food. It'd be like if you saw the Loch Ness Monster and ended up going out for coffee with him. Or her. I guess it's supposed to be a her. They call her Nessie. Anyway, Greg is going to read. Can we put up the picture of the actual guy? That guy looks like he'd eat some pancakes from a fucking UFO, but that's not who I'm talking about. But where is he? There he is. Excuse me.
Is that the guy?
I was so happy. Yeah, I was so happy when I found it. And that's supposed to be one of the actual. This happened in 1961. So he kept that. He says that was from an alien. That thing he's holding, that wafer.
I thought this was recent. Okay.
No, this happened in 1961 because I read about it in probably 1982.
You may think your pancakes are out of this world, but one man claims to have been served up the real deal. Chicken farmer Joe Symington claimed he was visited by aliens at around 11 a.m. on April 18th, 1961, and that they served him some intergalactic pancakes. Mr. Symington, who was 60 at the time of the alleged encounter, was visited at his farm in Eagle River, Wisconsin, by an object which he saw landing in his garden. He recalled hearing the sound of knobby tires on wet pavement and went to go investigate. Saw a metallic UFO-like object, which he described as appearing like two reversed bowls with exhaust pipes on its edge.
Okay, can we stop for a minute here? Yeah, it sounds all. Did he say he heard tires?
Knobby wet tires
or
on
what
wet pavement.
That's what he thought it sounded like? Or that's what he just said it sounded like that?
He said he heard the sound of, he recalled hearing the sound
of knobby wet tires
in his garden.
So he thinks of something landing sounds like knobby wet tires
on wet pavement. Knobby tires.
And then it has exhaust pipes on it. It has exhaust pipes on it too.
Two reversed bowls and with exhaust pipes on its edge.
What do reversed bowls mean? Like two reversed bowls. So I guess upside down bowls. So it was like round then.
Right. Mr. Symington said the object did not touch the ground, and that after he opened a gate on its side, he was met with three aliens who had a height of 1.5 meters, wore black or navy blue clothing with turtleneck shirts and helmets.
my God. I just love this story. So this guy approaches this thing and opens it himself.
Yeah, he opened the gate.
See, this guy is way too aggressive toward this UFO for it to be. I think he's probably stumbled upon a carnival in the woods. And there may have been sleeping carnies inside. He may have, I think he probably found a carnival trailer full of partying carnival people in there. And maybe they gave him a funnel cake. That's so far my theory. Okay, keep going.
Why would he have the guts to open an object that was hovering?
Well, the missing part of this story is that he must have been completely hammered. I mean, he's a chicken farmer, which means any chicken farmer.
He looks like
before 1980 is drunk as fuck. Most chicken farmers are still drunk, but before 1980, chicken farmers were fucking blind drunk 24/7. I mean, there's not a chance. Before the internet, chicken farmers probably didn't even know there were any health drawbacks to getting drunk.
And there's a big photo that people on Twitch can see. It looks like he's holding a honeycomb, but it's the pancake that the aliens, I guess, gave to him. Simonton told the press at the time that the crew seemed to be of Italian descent and about 25 or 30 years old.
All right, now it changes. Now I think he must have climbed on board like some sort of sounds a hell of a lot like the Merchant Marine. He doesn't say anything about water, but I mean Italians and turtlenecks. Wearing helmets. I mean, helmets, it could have been like, those watch caps that Merchant Marines wear. I mean, it sounds like kind of like Navy. He said they're wearing Navy jackets or something.
Sound like cyclists.
Sounds like pea coats. Could be a lot of things, but it sounds like a drunk man who saw something that sounds suspiciously like a car.
One of the occupants gave the witness a metallic jar with two handles, indicating with gestures that he needed water for drinking, holding the jar to his mouth. Yeah.
Fuck, that is fucking insane. A fucking alien needs water in a jug? An Italian alien doesn't have its own water? Come on.
Yeah, you probably
imagine if you had
water's
enough.
Probably coming out of the exhaust on that spacecraft.
You mean they're losing water through the exhaust?
It's an advanced engine that they could produce water anyhow they wanted to.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you're not going to travel across the universe and not have enough water. Like, we figured out everything, but we can't figure out how to bring any water with us. It's not a chance they're stopping for water all the time.
As a good host, Simonton agreed to the request and went to his house to fill the water jug,
This writer's such a dick as a good host.
Which he recalled as weighing a bit more than aluminum.
Highly suspicious. Must have been. There's nothing on Earth that weighs more than aluminum, so it must have been from outer space.
An Air Force report of the incident states, looking into the saucer, he saw a man cooking on some kind of flameless cooking appliance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was camping, this guy.
I think he was inside a bowling alley, like with the lights out.
The chef, who had red stripes.
He was like rubbing his hands up and down a pin setter. In the dark.
The chef, who had red stripes on the pants, gave.
Oh, come on now. I didn't even read that. The chef had a different. Okay. He's at a restaurant then. He must have just walked up to a restaurant through the back door.
Oh, these aren't even pancakes. Gave Simonton 4 hot cookies of about 7 centimeters in diameter.
The power directors are now called hot cookies.
With small holes. And, like the pancakes themselves, the evidence stacks up.
Ugh, this writer.
Astronomer J. Allen Hynek was dispatched by the U.S. Air Force to investigate the following incident. He took one of the pancakes away for government analysis at the Air Force Technical Intelligence Center. They found them to be made from flour, sugar, and grease. It just keeps going, this story.
Oh my man. Oh, I just want to be I wish so much that like I was the son of whoever the scientist was who had to test those fucking wafers. Like, you know what I mean? Like in 1961, what was the test for them? They probably, in 1961, they probably just like poked at it with some tweezers and then someone tasted it. And then the dad came home and he's like, I don't know, Dad, how was work? Well, I'm not supposed to tell this stuff. I don't know. I found this chicken farmer and he gave us a wafer, but it did have a high percentage of grease. I would say it was more grease than I would have expected from an earthbound. So I will say there was a tremendous amount of grease in these cakes. I just think the Air Force was probably primitive too. Like I just think the idea of like a bunch of guys in old time suits next to metal filing cabinets and stuff poking at a goddamn wafer and determining it's mostly grease.
In a book which investigates the incident called The W Files, True Reports of Wisconsin's Unexplained Phenomenon by Jay Rath.
Wisconsin's Unexplained Phenomenon.
The author writes, it was rumored, however, that the wheat in the pancake was of an unknown type.
It also weighed more than regular wheat. It seemed to weigh more than regular wheat.
Dr. Hynek wrote in his report, there is no question that Mr. Symington felt that his contact had been a real experience.
He did not.
The Air Force verdict for the Symington pancake incident labeled it as unexplained.
That's very kind. I would have said, listen, buddy, some guy in a dragster gave you potato chips. What you're describing sounds a lot like a carnival ride that you probably approached from like the service entrance.
I think this guy got blasted by some chicken methane or something. Some core juice came out of the hen shack.
Oh my God. Chicken methane 69. Oh, I love that story so much. I just love the idea that someone has the presence of mind to get aliens water. And I just like the idea of finding out who that really was. I really think it could have been a traveling rock band that was making like hash cookies or something.
Do you think his wife cooked up that pancake he's holding? Where did that?
I don't know, but it's his most prized possession. No one wants to get drunk with this guy now because he pulls that thing out.
That's like
Want to see my wafer? Charlie, you showed it to us like 4 times already. I did? Yeah, tonight. I forgot.
It does look kind of greasy.
You want to see my wafer? You just said that. You already showed it to us. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I've had a lot to drink. Oh, well, it's kind of boring now. You guys want to see my wafer? You just said that, you fucking gassed out fucking chicken farmer, you fucking methane blasted motherfucker.
Maybe chicken prices were way down when this happened. Okay, maybe he was really having tough times or something.
Yeah, his wife just left him because he was always wandering around the carnival after hours. All right, well, we got through this. I love that, and thank you, Greg, for reading it. I love this guy, and I wish I could buy that fucking cookie on Antiques Roadshow or at an auction and then bring it to Antiques Roadshow and see what they say.
That wafer is kind of like a Bigfoot plaster cast.
I also like to bring a Bigfoot plaster cast to Antiques Roadshow. I would like to bother Antiques Roadshow, basically. I would like to bring them things that aren't worth anything and see how they deal with it. Or else things that, in my opinion, are priceless that they probably think are worthless, like a wrestling magazine. Whew. I just had like a cold brew.
I don't think you'd make it in. You'd be like, go to the Price is Right, and you never get picked.
Yeah, they'd funnel me over to another line. I like when people go on there and they have to disappoint them, and they say it's worth like, you always know you're in trouble when they say, do you like the item? Like, do you personally enjoy this item? That's when you know
You
you're
better,
dead.
because it's worth shit.
Yeah, that's they always say. But you probably enjoy it. Do you enjoy this item? Oh fuck. Yeah, because it's not from the Revolutionary War. It was actually, it says made in China if you look real small on the bottom. It's from about 1986. It's a replica. And yeah, it's probably worth about what you paid for it. But I'm sure you enjoy it. And thanks for coming in.
When they talk about
All right.
signatures and they talk about being part of a series, that's when you know the dollar signs are coming in. I haven't watched a lot of Antique Roadshow, but enough to know that being part of a series and signed and shit like that, that's where the money is, right?
What is it?
When they sign it, and then they have like, well, this is one of a series of sketches that he was going through a tough time at this time, and these are some of the long lost pieces of art that we finally, like, it's part of a greater picture of art that the guy made.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they don't say, do you personally enjoy this item, you're pretty safe if you're on camera. If they bring you onto the TV and they don't say, do you enjoy this item, then you're probably doing pretty good. I mean, if they bring you on TV, you're either excited or you're about to be humiliated. Most of the time, you should be excited. But anyway, I want to go on Antiques Roadshow, and I don't really have anything I can bring. It's the problem is that rich people, the people who have like these artifacts that are worth money are usually people who already have a lot of money, so they're not as excited as they, like there's always like, oh, what a pleasant surprise.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, this is worth $80,000. They're like, oh, that's so wonderful. I'm so happy. Thank you so much.
That's even more than I imagined.
Right. Exactly. And then some other guy brings in like, something he thinks is worth money, and it turns out to be like a TV stand from 1990. And he's like, my uncle said he found this in a swamp right near an old steamboat. Well, do you enjoy this TV stand? Well, yeah, I guess so. Why? Okay, so you guys, how's everybody doing in the chat room? Gem City Record Collector, aka Simon, says an Air Force analysis determined that the pancakes were actually weather balloons, and that is a good joke because for like the last 100 years, every time anybody saw anything, the Army and the Navy said it was a weather balloon, no matter what happened. Like someone would say someone would say I was served pancakes out of this thing, and they'd say weather balloon. And if you said that some green man came out and did a fucking river dance, they would say weather balloon. But how could it have been a weather balloon? It tipped its hat to me. So anyway,
I think we've got time for.
I got to stop saying anyway over and over again. That's my new thing. That should be my catchphrase on this thing. It's because I'm by myself talking to myself, so I don't know what to do. I'm sitting in a room by myself with a lamp on me.
I'm here.
So I'm like, keep going. But you know what I mean? Good. Thank you, Greg. But it's like, I do feel like that's why I keep saying anyway, because I'm like pretty much saying it. I'm talking to a BMX bike. There's a BMX bike right behind this computer. My audience is a BMX bike and a bunch of boxes. So that's why I keep saying anyway to this audience of odd pieces of furniture and file cabinet.
Let's let Uri Geller take us away.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay. Listen to this. How many people in the chat room? Oh, look, it's Glorious Garbage. That's Hunter. Look at there's Seaberry. That's Alicia. She says Cornelius sends his love because I called her cat Cornelius by mistake instead of
Rocky.
His real name, which is Nebuchadnezzar. It's not Nebuchadnezzar. It's Nicodemus. And Alicia adopted Rocky, which is the cat that's sitting behind Greg in the picture on the screen here. There's Rocky. So anyway, hi, Alicia. And Aunt Kath says chicken farmers are still drunk. And I agree with that. And I think actually Aunt Kath might have inside information because she had the unfortunate experience of working for a meat company. And so she probably knows if chicken farmers are drunk. God knows if you can't be drunk and be a chicken farmer. I mean, that seems like it'd be one of the main reasons you get into the business. The fuck else are you in it for? Because you love millions of chickens and you love killing them?
I actually
not.
tried to be a chicken. I work at a chicken or some kind of meat processing plant, in Kansas, and I went there, and my white privilege prevented me from getting the job. The guy was like, "You don't want this job." I was like, "I don't."
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's a part of white privilege people don't talk about much. Like white people actually steering other white people away from bad jobs. Ugh, that's so shitty.
I also wanted to work on an oil rig in Wyoming, and I didn't make it to the interview process on that one. I just saw people hobbling around town without limbs, and I was like, maybe I work on the oil rig.
I admire. You see, this is it. You can't. God damn it. There's so much white privilege in this country that even a white person who's trying to do a salt of the earth job can't even fucking get one because they're like, you don't want this job. What you want is a stockbroker job. You never lose a limb. You can work from home in your socks. You press 4 buttons a day. You got unlimited smoothies. Oh. All right. So Aunt Kath says, damn straight, CC. I knew it. She did work. She worked for a meat company, and everybody in that whole business has got to be drunk. Because even if you like chickens, you don't want that many chickens. You know what I mean? It's not like when you grow up and you're like, oh, I love chickens. I want to be a chicken farmer. At this point, you'd be disappointed. You'd be like, I didn't want this many chickens. I wanted like 20. Now you have 6 million chickens. You're going to need you're going to need a blood canal.
Yeah.
You're going to need 4 miles of shit ducts. Oh, God, I got into this business because of the song Old MacDonald. With a cluck, cluck there. Oh, no. No. You're going to need a helicopter to fly out the fucking excess feathers. This is a whole different ball game. You're going to make a lot of money, though. One more thing, because it's almost the end of the show. I just want to say that I have this joke that I think is such a good joke, but I haven't gotten the response I like on my old Twitter at the Crofton Show or at the Crofton Show on Instagram. I mean, it's fine response, but I think it's such a good idea and such a sinister thing. Spotify Wrapped, Greg.
What do you mean?
Or Eric, you could join in on this if you want. Eric is the Oz
engineer
to our Emerald City. Some cold brew talk and some cold brew gibberish right there.
Got me
But
like
Spotify Wrapped is where they tell you what you've been doing all year on Spotify. Like, you listen to this much of this, and you listen to that much of this, and you're number one most played. Yeah, the most played thing is this, and you listen to. What kind of gave me the creeps is they're like, you listen to a lot of like white noise before you went to bed or something. And I was like, what? I mean, because I've listened to a bunch of white noise before I go to bed, but I don't really need someone to tell me that. It felt kind of creepy. So then I thought that Google should do a Radical Dinosaur says, here comes the Red Hot Chili Peppers lyrics. No, not this time, but I have been doing a recurring bit where I say I've got lyric ideas for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You can find that on Twitter. But anyway, the idea is that Google should do a Wrapped. Like a year-end.
Oh, yeah, like Facebook does and Spotify does.
But like Google should do it so they can be like, man, you parked your car in almost always the same place, and you sure swore a lot in your emails this year. And we also like the way you look right now. We like the way you have your hair right this minute. We also like we notice how hot you like the shower water.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, cheers from Google.
You have Nest in your house and the Nest controls
just whatever. Fucking, they know everything.
Shower.
I mean, but mainly they could tell you where the fuck you've been. They could be like, hey, we can tell you, hey, you want your Google Wrapped? We can show you everywhere you've been the whole year. Exactly. Within a few feet. Isn't that funny?
Hey, you didn't like that haircut
Happy
because you walked
holidays.
10 miles per hour slower the next month.
Yes. Yes. We noticed you slept late a lot after your haircut. Chin up, Chris. Happy holidays from Google. Happy holidays, Gorilla Breath 69.
I tell you, there's a sign of the
You
apocalypse.
don't have very much in your refrigerator, right?
The sign of apocalypse is getting a robocall from Cologuard or whatever. Because I got one of those colonoscopy tests you have to do at home. Where you were talking about shitting in a box a couple months ago.
I deny that.
Well, anyway, you can opt out of a colonoscopy, and then your doctor will send you a kit in the mail, and then
oh yeah, someone did send me one of those.
Your kit arrives, and then suddenly your phone starts blowing up. This computer's like, "Hello, it's Cologuard," and I'm at work, and I'm getting called by the Cologuard, and it's just like, what has this world become? Where am I?
Oh, like Cologuard, yeah, like colon. I thought you meant like cola. I thought it was something to do with soda.
No, it's colonoscopy.
Yeah, they sent me that in the mail. They sent me a home.
Yeah, but why are they calling me? They're like,
shit tester.
Some computer phone is calling me and saying, "Why haven't you shit in a box?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was outraged by my home shit test.
I know, it's the most horrendous thing.
I was like, this is.
I know.
I was like, I would
it's
rather.
Not good.
I kind of think I would rather die.
I think I should have gone for
than
the
fucking
procedure.
poke a fucking piece of wood in my shit at home.
Yeah,
I'm not mailing anyone my shit.
I made the wrong decision. I think I should have gone for it. Would have gotten off work.
Back in 1961, you could get a colonoscopy from a traveling UFO.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Gesture.
Chicken farmers didn't have to worry about that shit.
No.
Door to door.
You think any chicken farmers in 1961 did any fecal tests, like to add their feces tests?
It's an outrageous procedure. I don't want any part of it.
Oh God. A chicken farmer from 1961 in Wisconsin probably never went to the doctor like this whole life.
And he was better off.
Let alone a shit doctor. Yeah, they're like, you gonna poke around in my shit? I don't think so, you fucking communist. I shit whatever I want. It's my own business. My God, all your shit is just 100% chewing tobacco. Shut the fuck up. Do you eat chewing tobacco? Shut up. All right. So I guess we kind of blew it on the Uri Geller thing. Do you guys know who Uri Geller is? The people in the chat room there. The hot, what did I say? What was the new one? Hot cookies or whatever? Yeah, hot cookies. Does anybody know about Uri Geller? Uri Geller was a famous spoon bender magician in the 1970s. And he was very famous because he was also handsome. And so he was sort of this rock star magician, which there was such a thing back then. Oh yeah, Barry Bizarre says, yes, I've heard of Uri Geller. Okay, well, just for fun. And I don't know if I'm a little worried though that Uri Geller is still rich. And see the difference. There's this guy named Amazing Randy. Have you heard of him, Greg? Like the debunker guy?
Yeah.
And he basically hated Uri Geller because he's like, this is all just fucking, speaking of carnivals, he's like, this is all just sleight of hand carnival stuff. And this guy's claiming to be a real psychic. And so Amazing Randy bent spoons using his fingers, the same kind of thing. And but Uri Geller got Stanford University to test him and actually he tricked Stanford University into thinking that he had real psychic powers. That's how good of a, well, I mean, he was like a magician, but he just claimed he was the real deal. He famously fell apart on the Johnny Carson show. It was like a big downfall for him. But he denied. What happened was he went on Johnny Carson and he was supposed to bend spoons, but the cameras were not the way he liked it. And he basically said, I can't do it. I don't have the right like vibe. And it was a big Like he tried a few times and he couldn't do it. And it was like pretty obvious that he just didn't have the right conditions. He couldn't control the conditions. So he couldn't do it. And so he's like, I just can't do it. And it was like hurt his career, but he still was handsome enough and just stuck to his gun saying that was just some aberration. And he really was a psychic. And so he's still a big celebrity. He's from Israel, is a big celebrity in Israel. And I'm afraid that he's going to copyright flag what we're going to do right now, but I'm going to do a little bit of it anyway. And maybe the show won't be on YouTube this week because of Uri Geller still protecting his copyrights. But what's funny about Uri Geller, in addition to the fact that you could become a celebrity for bending spoons in 1975, is that he made music. And this reminds me of Evel Knievel writing poetry or what do you call that guy? The guy from Captain Kirk, William Shatner, becoming a singer, Telly Savalas becoming a singer. It's like anytime celebrities go crazy and just start branching out into other art forms, I kind of love it. Yeah. It's like, Jeremy Renner making a rap song, which I've talked about on the Daily Zeitgeist, and which we actually should play a little of sometime, because Jeremy Renner, that's a great example. It's like, when you get famous, you get in this bubble and your friends never say no to you or say anything you think is a bad idea. So, Jeremy Renner's like, I'm thinking about putting out a rap album. His friends are like, that's a great idea. Anybody sane, if he had any real friends and he wasn't a celebrity, they'd be like, are you out of your fucking mind? You're going to fucking do a rap album? You're a middle-aged white man with no experience in the music. You've never even made any music. Anyway, and his friends are like, no, it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea. You can use my studio. Can I have my wife come in and just meet you though while you're using the studio? Because she'd just like to meet you. So yeah, you can use my studio for as long as you want for free. Jeremy Renner. I love how Jeremy Renner sort of believes his own hype. I also like when people think that because they're in action movies, they're actually tough guys. That's always funny, because I think Jeremy Renner is definitely one of those guys.
Yeah, he's probably pretty small.
I think he is. He looks small. He's one of those guys that's small with a huge head, and that's why he looks good on camera. And so, that's the standard way that these people look. Even, what do you call him? Even Robert Redford was short with a gigantic head. God damn, did you guys see the launch party for House of Gucci?
No.
That freak show? Holy fuck. Well, first of all, everybody involved in that movie looks like a nut. Lady Gaga's a nut. Fucking Jared Leto's a nut. And then there's fucking poor Al Pacino, who was shorter than Lady Gaga at the premiere, which means he's under 5'2".
Jesus.
Because she's 5'2".
Anyway, it's a shitty movie.
Al Pacino has a huge head. Yeah, it looks terrible. I can't get behind Lady Gaga is a funny phenomenon as an over the top sort of Broadway type person, but Jared Leto is it's just, the whole thing is just it's just an example of nobody being serious and just stunt casting everything. And just all the things I hate about modern art, where it's just like everybody just needs a celebrity and everything. It's like, I'm sure the House of Gucci could have been a cool movie probably if they didn't use the same fucking 4 people. It's like, let's put Harry Styles in it. Let's put, maybe we can put, maybe Joe Rogan can be one of the Guccis. It's just like this endless crossover stuff that's happening now. Okay. So fucking.
Don't go see House of Gucci. Pre-order your book. And
it's also like 3 hours long. House of Gucci's like, of course, all modern movies are 3 hours and say nothing.
He's made a few. Ridley Scott directed it, so.
Didn't he make Fury Road?
No.
Who made that?
The guy who directed Road Warrior, George Miller. Yeah, no. Ridley Scott made Aliens, or Alien. He's made some good movies. He made Blade Runner. Movie. He's made some good movies, but most of his movies are piles of crap. They're pretty big and they're expensive, but Gladiator. He's made a few good movies, I guess. Yeah, he's
Thelma Louise is a good
He's a
movie.
workaholic.
Just like me and you.
I know that's right.
So, all right. So this is the last thing. We're just gonna play a little bit of Uri Geller. Can you bring up that picture of him? Not that. That is very. He has a lot in common with Uri Geller. That, yeah. So this is a Uri Geller song, and it's the lyrics are
deep,
just
deep, long, wide space. I'm floating there like waters. The planets look alike, like me and you. The stars are turning over. Oh,
what
and
happened.
strong. I feel your strength. Your hand to me has pointed. Creation there, creation here. I know, for I wonder. Love is word that understand. People hear this word and think of God above you.
Sounds like a woman.
Yeah, I mean, that's the least of his problems. He sounds like a man reading a fucking, I don't know, a fifth grader's letter to his Santa Claus or something. I mean, that sounds like, anyway, I love that. I like imagining that the string quartet is like his legal team, like his agent is the one playing the guitar. You know, like, it's just like, let's cash in on this. He's like, I've never written a song. I can only bend spoons. And they're like, come on. What do you got to say? Just say some stuff that's mystical. People think you're a goddamn psychic, even though you're not. He's like, I am a psychic. Don't ever say that to me. I've told you, George. I really am a psychic. Yeah, whatever. Just say some of your psychic stuff and we'll play the fucking fiddle. What do you mean psychic stuff? Just say something about the planets. He's like, the planets are made of water and love, and they look like me. And somebody gave me love, and I saw God and the planet. He's perfect. We're done. That's a wrap. Print. I just think it's great. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't know. I hope we don't get copyrighted. But man, I want to do some more. I think we should play some more Uri Geller. I hope we don't get copyright flagged. If we do, then we won't be able to play any more Uri Geller. But man, oh man, I kind of enjoy that music though. It's really like it's like yacht rock for beginners. It's like low stress yacht rock, because yacht rock's about like relationships that went wrong, and this is just about pure gibberish.
You need to get a copy of that painting and take it to Roadshow.
We need to make shirts. I'd love to get in a legal battle. If this book does well, I'll make shirts with this image on it. We'll sell the shit out of them. On the back, we'll put like whatever that thing that Stiff Bull Coffee says on. Remember their slogan, like may make you feel better for 3 days or whatever. Make shirts like that. Sell Uri Geller, just to bait Uri Geller into a legal battle with us, which we can then televise for even more fucking action. See what I'm talking about? I would love to have Uri Geller mad at me. I'd be like, what are you going to do? Bend me like a spoon, pretty boy?
We'll get David Yao to make the shirts.
Possible.
Yes, and we'll get David Yao involved.
Amazing effect. Is that what it was?
I can't remember what it was, but we're going to make those shirts. And if anyone would like to sub to this fucking podcast, I think that's something we're supposed to be promoting. I always forget to do it.
Sub means subscribe, right?
Yeah, subs and tip if you want. And I don't know. I think we're supposed to be doing more
Promoting.
Yeah, so don't forget to subscribe. I don't know what you get, but and the Patreon. I feel bad. I well, I don't know why I feel bad. I feel bad about everything. Go subscribe to the Patreon. And thank you very much for you guys. It's Chris Crofton is the name of the Patreon. Greg Crofton can be found at Channel Nonfiction on
Twitter, and then my actual
on
website
Twitter.
is
Okay.
called channelnonfiction.com or
channelnonfiction.com.
greatdocumentaries.org. Either one floats your boat. I just wrote
Hell
I just
yeah.
wrote about Doc NYC, wrote about Jacques Cousteau, Arthur Ashe, Kurt Vonnegut, and Trailer Parks.
Love it. Please subscribe to Greg's. Greg is doing just does great. He's a great writer and does great work. And please subscribe to his Twitter, which his Twitter and his Instagram, and go to his website, which he is just put a ton of work into and is just amazing. And it's a great resource for documentaries, which is one of my favorite things. Documentaries are one of my favorite things. So if they're good. So we ran out of time for Greg's beach story. So
Next time,
we'll
right?
have to talk about it. Yeah, next time. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you soon. And very grateful for you. Thanks, Eric, so much. Eric Wilson on the
boards.
Ones and the twos.
charge, Captain Nemo.
Good night.